Hey everybody, it's Brett Quintine, BQ Enterprises, your local mobile notary based here in Chandler, Arizona. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that's film a video in a place that I do this quite often, and that's a client's living room, a client's dining room. That's really where a mobile notary does a lot of his work. There really isn't an office per se. It's a scenario where, yes, we come to you and we sit in a location that you choose. Yes, we can, of course, go to a coffee shop or something of that nature or your office, but a lot of people like to do things in the comfort of their own home. So this makes a lot of sense. And who is this video for? Well, I don't want to say it's for everybody, but there are some specifics. And let's say you are getting to sign your will, start to get some estate things planned. That's where this video is going to drive. Or if your attorney has said, hey, you know what? We're complete here. A notary will come to you. That's exactly where I step in. I really become an extension of several attorneys in what they do. They prepare your will, your trust, all of your estate planning documents, and I essentially come in and finalize it and make sure that everything is good to go. And I did mention attorneys. Yes, that's the one thing that I am not. Notaries, for the most part, are not attorneys. We do not give legal advice. That is what your lawyer/attorney is for. He or she is there to make sure it's done properly. And myself, I come in and finalize it. And again, I'm not just a stamp. Yes, you are going to see me stamp a lot of things and ask for your signature or your initial here and there, but it also becomes a relationship. It's one of those things where, yes, I can essentially walk you through what you're about to sign just to make sure that you are fully comfortable. A typical estate planning package has a lot of parts to it. And the will, the trust, you've heard the term last will and testament, that is a big factor of it, as well as, yes, the living trust, which can make sure that things are still in motion while you're still on this earth. For a will, it really doesn't go into effect until after a person is deceased. So there is a big difference between a will and a trust. And yes, you can look that up online. I can even answer that question in a lighter format, but of course your attorney can certainly do that as well. But yes, know what you're looking to do as you start to form your estate plan. Healthcare power of attorney, that is huge. Keeping it simple, who pulls the plug when a decision has to be made? And it's not just about pulling the plug, and I hate to go in that direction, but there are healthcare decisions that need to be made, and someone needs to be deemed that authoritative status to make that decision. So that is also included in the estate plan, in the trust delivery, so to speak. So yes, there are so many things, and I said healthcare power of attorney, but also just your regular power of attorney. When you're not able to make financial decisions or what you need to do in life, someone has to kind of take that over. So that's a big part of it. And again, there are so many moving parts to it, and that's why when you decide to really go the trust delivery route, the full trust, you got to make sure that it's being done right. How to prepare. That's, and folks, I have a lot of notes, but what do you want to do before a notary arrives? Well, make sure that you've spoken with the notary again, and just again to establish that relationship. How many people are going to be at the signing? Generally, you do not want a crowd of people. You do not want the kids around necessarily. You don't want the babysitter. You don't want extra people. It really is a small ceremony, one that has to be concentrated on. You want, obviously, the notary. You want the person or people who are doing the signing. You want the subject. you want to make sure it's a small contingent and that everyone who is sitting at that table really has a role. You do not want distractions. You want very minimal distractions. And making sure that there is a secure space, a clean space. Yes, we're at a dining room or a kitchen table, whatever it may be, or even a den. You want to make sure there's ample space for people to sit. You want to make sure that there is just ample time. And as I've said, minimal distractions. You want it to be as comfortable for everyone as possible. And have your identifications ready. Not, oh, hey, it's upstairs or that sort of thing. And yes, I'll say for myself, when I arrive at someone's home or their location, I have time. I'm building in time, but it makes it very smooth if the identifications are ready, just because obviously I'm going to be checking that. You want to make sure that you have a nice, secure space. There are so many different things. If there are any pets, secure them. You don't want the dog barking in. Yeah, dogs are cute. Cats are cute. They've been in my lap sometime, but that's not always ideal. So you just want to make sure that everything is prepared. You don't want this to be a last minute scenario, because I can definitely tell you as a notary, I am going to be on time. I'm going to be early. If you tell me arrive at your place of choosing at 6 p.m., I'm going to make sure that I'm there at 5:50, 5:55. I'll wait in the car, and I'm going to be ringing your doorbell at 6 p.m. or walking into that location. I want to make sure that we really maximize your time, and I certainly want to maximize my time. So that is very, very important. Just the timely manner, that is for sure. One of the first things I'll do, obviously, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to make sure that you guys know who I am. You've probably seen pictures of me, or you probably will if you decide to hire me, bring me on board. I'll have my identification. I'll make sure that when I step into your home, that you're comfortable with the gentleman that I am, of, hey, this is a professional guy. This is who I spoke with on the phone. Yes, let's bring him into the living room, wherever it may be. Hey, have a bottle of water. I'll always bring my own bottle of water. I will take a bottle of water if you offer me one. I certainly want this to be comfortable, but we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. We'll go through a little bit of who's doing what and what documents are scheduled to be signed, because in an estate plan, you have a lot of documents. Some may not have a special needs document at all. Some may not have a HIPAA. There are just so many things. All documents, all estate plans are not created equal. That's the one thing that we have to keep in mind. And every attorney drafts things just a little bit differently. They all essentially say the same thing, but the wording is a little bit different. So I am certainly going to take my time as I walk through myself of making sure that this is what this says, this is what that says. But yes, we're going to do that together, but we'll make sure that we are very much on the same page. We're going to do the documents one at a time. We are going to start again. You can never really say which document you're going to start with, but I'm going to take it from you. I'm going to look at it, or I may even have it myself if it's given to me by an attorney. It all depends. Every signing is a little bit different, and I'm going to explain to you, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm going to need you to initial here and here. Mr. Jones, I need you to sign here. Mrs. Jones here. That sort of thing. You certainly just want to make sure that the person knows where they're signing. And folks, this is where I'm going to stamp, or this is where my signature is going to be. So you want to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing. And again, I can't, because I'm not an attorney, I cannot tell you, hey, this means that if this happens, you get this or you get that. This is just the flow of it. Yes, you can certainly read it, and most of the time you understand what the flow is, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily at liberty to say, oh yeah, hey, well, if this happens, no, it's, hey, let's all take a look at this together. Hopefully you understand what this is, and this is what this means. This is why this is called a trust. This is the health power of attorney. This is the durable power of attorney, that sort of thing. And yes, every now and then people do get confused on what they're signing, and that's why it's important for everyone just to take their time and understand what's being, not so much what's being written because it's written already, but what's being notarized, what has been prepared, why we're doing this. That is a big scenario. You don't want anyone to be cold of, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. No, we want everyone to be prepared and really comfortable signing, because these documents, they may not come into play for another, hopefully at least 10 years, maybe 15 or 20 years down the road. But you want to make sure that they are done correctly, because yes, we're doing this so you don't end up in probate court, or if there is some type of dispute that, hey, this piece of paper says I can do this, I have control of that. That is exactly why we're doing it. My job as a notary really to confirm that you are who you say you are. That's why the identifications are so important. That's why I'm going to look at it pretty good and hold it up. It's okay, hey, yeah, this is that person. Oh yeah, hey, you are 10 years older now than you were when you took the picture, that sort of thing. There's going to be some humor, but I do have to confirm all identities at the table. I have to make sure that you are also willing and aware to sign, that no one forced you into this room or into this table. I have to make sure that you are of sound mind, of sound body as best you can. And yes, I realize that when you're dealing with senior citizens or elderly, that yeah, their handwriting is not going to be the same as it was 10, 15 years ago or so, even a few years prior, but they do have to know what they're doing, and I have to confirm that. I have to make sure that this is what they're doing. Sometime I even may have to ask other folks to leave the room and have a very, very brief one-on-one. Miss Johnson, can you tell me your name? Miss Johnson, I know you may not remember your date of birth, but can you tell me a couple of your children's names? Can you tell me why I'm here today, or do you even know who I am? I have to feel comfortable in doing this, because otherwise it could come back on me. But more importantly, we want to make sure that everyone involved knows what they're doing and is comfortable with what they're doing, because I'm going to do everything on my end to make sure that this notarization goes smoothly. A question I get, how long will this take? You know what I'm going to say to that? As long as it needs to be. There is no time limit. It's like a baseball game. You're going to play 9 innings. It might go 2 hours and 15 minutes. It might go 4 hours and 15 minutes. There's no clock ticking. You'd like to keep things in that under an hour range, if at all possible, depending on how detailed it is, just depending on the health of everyone. But at the same time, I never put a time limit. I'm not going to rush you through a life experience. I'm not going to do that at all. And that's why I also ask you to be prepared when we do something like this. But know that I am never on the clock, so to speak, of, okay, hey, it's 6 o'clock. I got to be out of here by 6:45. No, that's not happening at all. No, we're going to make sure that this is right. And again, it only may be a handful of documents, or it may be a lot of signatures. You may have a very, very detailed estate plan. I can tell you over the last year, I've seen some things that I never expected to see when I first started out in this business. I just figured, okay, hey, it's a will. Okay, hey, it's a healthcare power of attorney, that sort of thing, or general power of attorney. But there's so much more to that pour over wills, just everything of that nature, special needs documents. You're looking at sometime apostille work that has been stamped in another state, and you got to make sure that, okay, is this legal here in Arizona? All of that sort of stuff. So there's never a time limit. The limit is making sure that you get everything done right. That is the big thing. So many situations. And then, yes, I go to hospitals and assisted living facilities, and those generally are not as, when I say comfortable, yes, I'm sitting here in a dining room table. A lot of times you're sitting by someone's bedside in a hospital, and that's a little bit challenging. Unfortunately, the ends can be closer than we'd like it to be. So it's, when I say it's a rush, not when I'm in the room, but I may get a call on a Friday morning and some in-laws are coming in over the weekend. Hey, Mr. Quintine, I understand, hey, you're a very popular notary, that sort of thing. Are you able to visit us on Saturday evening at such and such hospital or clinic or facility, or Sunday morning or whenever, sometime over that weekend? Yes, that's when time is of the urgency. So I am known to do rush orders, and while I say those are never pleasant, that's the one thing I'll say. My bedside manner is really good. I'm going to make you feel very comfortable with me. That's that's the biggest thing, because, again, time is of the essence. Not everyone is 40 years old and planning their estate plan for the next 30, 40 years. Quite often, person is in the mid 70s, early 80s, and it has to be done very, very quickly. And in that case, yes, there are many things that have to be done rather swiftly. And as I start to wrap this up, I'm just looking at a couple of notes. The one thing I'll also mention in specific with assisted living facilities or hospitals, when you schedule a notary to come out to one of those venues, try to make sure that the patient or the subject is most alert. For some patients, that may be 6 in the evening. For some, it may be 6 in the morning. Know when they are sluggish or when they're taking an early afternoon nap. Don't have someone come out at 2 in the afternoon, which is an ideal time for many. But if that's when they're taking an afternoon nap or they're eating, that's not the ideal time. So really think things through when you are scheduling a notary to come out to a, I'm going to call it a third-party venue, meaning a hospital or an assisted living facility or even an active adult scenario. It all depends. That's what makes this business interesting, challenging, but I am certainly a people person, so I enjoy coming out, meeting new people, and establishing relationships. I can't tell you how many times that really over the last couple of years or so, we're doing, we'll say, mom or dad's paperwork, we'll call it, and the son or the daughter may say, wow, this really caught up on us really quick. I'm going to have to do mine pretty soon. Are you available in the next month or so? Or I'm like, hey, you know what? Yes, I am. Keep my contact information. And when you guys are ready, just let me know. I always follow up, not even so much, oh, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, did you think about your power of attorney? Did you think about your estate plan? No. I follow up because I like to be part of their life. I want them to know that, hey, you know what? That Brett Quintine guy, he's a good guy. He came out and visited us on a Sunday, or he came to my office, that sort of thing. I'm all about being relationship driven. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope everybody has a great weekend. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me, Brett at bqenterprises.com, my website, which is updated on a weekly basis. There's always some good news and notes there. It's bqenterprises.com, and I'll shout out the phone number. It's 602-492-1830. So yes, indeed, have a terrific weekend. We'll see you guys real soon. But more importantly, I am here to really make your notarizations go smoothly. I like to be an extension of attorneys and families. Have a good one.